Hey, good morning, guys. Back on this 56 again. I'm Mike with Chassis Parts Online. This is where I got to this morning. I'm at the end of my time this morning. Got the rack installed, the steering. I put the steering joint on here so that I could get this centered, the steering centered. This is a 36, 3/4 36 spline on that end, and it goes to a double D, 3/4 double D right here on this end. Generally, most of your F-100s, 60s and 70s, the bottom spline on the column, if you knock that little flat plate off, there's a 3/4 36 spline on it. So if you'll get two of these 3/4 36 spline to 3/4 double D, and a double D slip shaft in the middle to go in the middle, you can hook yours up pretty easy. You may need a heim joint mount somewhere in between, and I was thinking about making it part of this mount right here, or at least making some holes to bolt one on and making a couple generic ones, laser cut ones, that a customer could use that would be adjustable here and there to make that easier. This guy has the column, got the steering column covered up, but the column in this one is out of a late model Ford truck or van, because it's got the steering matches the key, the chip of the key, I guess you could call it, and the steering and all that matches the computer that he's going to use. So he's using that column. So I don't know what end is on it, but it stops somewhere up inside there. So he's going to hook that up. But anyways, but like 60s and 70s Ford trucks, 3/4 36 spline on the bottom. So that makes that easy. For you guys that don't know, this is a 1996 Lincoln Mark 8 rack. It's the correct width, as we talked about, for fitting with these control arms being shorter. Also, the threads on the rack match the factory Crown Vic tie rod ends. The threads are M14 1.5. So I'm gonna have to put this on, then I'm gonna have to cut this off. As you can see, we're gonna have to cut off quite a bit. I think the sweet spot to cut it off is right past that flat nub. I'm going to measure it from the inside and stick it on there and see what I'll make the wheels point exactly straight. I'll check that with a ruler on both sides, and then I'll put both tie rods on. And then I'll see exactly where I got to cut it. And then when I do, I'll save that information for you. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and I did one on a 54 years ago, but it was a stub end. The whole front end had a Chrysler front end welded in it, and I had to cut it off up under the cab and stub it in. So I made a narrow version of it. This is like 2019 or something, years ago. So it's been a while. Don't remember what I cut off on the end. I just know it works. But as I said, the threads are M14 by M14 1.5, and so are the Crown Vic tie rod ends. The Fox body rack is very similar to this, except it has 9/16 threads there. So you have to have some kind of adapter, or you got to use a heim or something on the end. So that's why we use the Mark 8 rack, because it's the right width. Anyways, this is where I'm at. It's the end of my time this morning. I got the everything on here except for the coilovers. He's got QA1 coilovers, which I don't know what these are made for, but we got an issue here because they have a 3/4 hole and they've got a sleeve that comes with it that goes down to 1/2 inch. Okay, well, all the holes on my stuff is 5/8 or 16 millimeter to match Crown Vic struts. So I've got to come up with some sleeve material to go from 3/4 down to 5/8 because of the holes in here are 5/8. Now the top holes are 1/2 inch. So I just got to do something on the bottom. I will need to come up with some spacers. But once I come up with these spacers, you guys that need the spacers for yours, I can tell you what it needs. Now, obviously all coilovers are going to be different. Some may be the same width, some not. But so I won't be stocking any of that stuff or making any of that stuff. If I do, I would probably have it made by some other machine shop, so it doesn't take me time to do it. But anyways, that's where we're at for today. Once I get the steering hooked up, I'll be able to set this thing on the ground, put the wheels on it. In the meantime, I've got another hour I can spend on this in the shop. So I'm going to measure those tie rods. I got to find the other one. I can't figure out what to do with the other one. Got them off of Rock Auto. So I'm going to find the other one. I'll figure out how the depth works there, where I need to cut these. And basically, once I cut that, I've got this tool. I don't know if you guys have seen one of these before. This tool right here. Once you cut that off, you run this tool over the end of it, and it cleans up the threads. Okay. Now, cutting this off, all I got to do is run a taper into it, and it'll be fine. This did not come with jam nuts, so I'll have to see if I've got some jam nuts off the original Crown Vic rack. I bet I do. If not, I'll order some. M14 1.5 jam nuts shouldn't be that hard to find. As you can see, I got the rack mounted. It's got bushings that come in the rack. This is a rebuilt rack. This one is not new. But it's got a bushing there with a sleeve inside that, metal sleeve inside it. So basically, this rack is riding in rubber. You can move it. And basically, I moved it side to side, and I measured from the frame out to there to center that thing. And as you can see, it's real close to the motor mounts right there, but that's what he is on the factory one too. So anyways, again, that's where we're at. Let me know what you guys think. Leave some comments, questions, whatever, and we'll go from there. Hopefully the next video has this thing with some wheels on it. Still got to go ahead and put the body mounts back on so before I can set this thing back down. As you can see, the cab is sitting on stands. The frame is sitting on separate stands, so I'll have to do that. But I've already talked with the owner. Today is Thursday, so he's going to get hold of me this weekend, probably tomorrow or Saturday, and come get it probably, I don't know, Sunday or who knows when. Anyways, but I'll be done with it. If I'm not done with it by tomorrow, then for sure Saturday. I need to move it on Saturday because I got to get stuff out of the backyard. Anyways, I guess that's all I got for you now.
Hey, good morning, guys. Mike with Chassis Parts Online again. Finishing up this 56. I've got it sitting in the driveway, sitting on its springs. The customer's coming to get it. These wheels are not what he's going to run on. It just happened to be the only wheels he had that were 5 on 4.5. huge offset wheels. Way too big for this truck, but the suspension is done. I just put those coilovers together the way they were. I didn't adjust them or anything. I think he's got like 600 or 650 pound springs on this because he's going to run a Godzilla motor in it, and I'm sure that motor's pretty heavy. So it's kind of stiff in the front end, but as you can see, it sets up pretty high. You guys that want one that doesn't set real low, you know, you can get that. You can get a higher height with these, with this suspension, and I'll show you how that's achieved on here. This is the this coilover mount. As you can see down in there, it's got multiple holes. It can be moved up one more hole. See? And it can also be moved down. It actually moved up 2 holes because you only need 4 bolts. It can move down 2 holes also. So you can get quite a height range. Plus, once you move that mount, you can also adjust your coilover. I've got it on the very bottom hole on the control arm. You can get another inch by moving it to the other hole. But also, you can adjust the spring. You can get any height you want, really. For guys that missed what we did here, this rack is the Lincoln Mark 8 rack, and it's the right width to work with this suspension. These are 1 inch shorter control arms, upper and lower. So you got 4 3/4 inch narrower crossmember and 1 inch per side shorter control arms. So you got 6 3/4 inches narrower than the factory Crown Vic. The factory Crown Vic is, somebody says 67, somebody says 67.5. So right at 67. So this puts this right at 60, 60 1/4, 60 1/2, somewhere around in there. Which means it's right at exactly where a 60s or 70s truck is hub to hub to start with. So that'll get you where you can run anywhere you want. Coilover suspension, you can run bags, you can run the factory struts. The factory strut just has a different upper mount. It's a 1-piece mount instead of 2-piece like that. Just a 1-piece mount for the arm and the strut itself. They have a bolt-on bag mount, and the bolt-on bag mount is adjustable the same way this one is. You adjust it up and down a couple of holes either way. So that gives you a lot of adjustment and a lot of different options you can do. You could run these with stock arms, like the stock aluminum and stock stamped steel or cast steel Crown Vic arms. Yeah, they will fit onto this cross member. Looks like you got all kinds of options there. So I'm wrapping this up. This is all I'm going to do on this thing. The guy's going to come get it, and then he's going to blow it apart and paint the frame or powder coat it, whatever he's going to do. He's got body work to do. He's going to paint or powder coat all the parts. The gray primer on the control arms, as we talked about, is just a etching primer. Keep stuff from rusting. Here in Texas, this time of summer, stuff rusts really quickly. So I've been starting to put etching primer on stuff so customers don't open a box and get a bunch of rusty parts. Just a light coat of etching, self-etching primer. The other thing about this truck is I've got templates for the to mount this S550 Mustang we're in. Now this customer just made some simple brackets just to mount it to so he could roll the truck around. He was going to make some different brackets or get a kit for it. But while the truck was here, I had my helper take these brackets off of one side, and I ran a template, made a template of the side of the frame with where all the holes are and all that. And so I could make some mounts to mount this cradle, this whole cradle and stuff on one of these myself. So that's something we got coming up in the future. Just got to do some more prototyping on it. But this customer's ready for the truck back, so I'm going to try to find a 53 to 56 F-100 chassis. If you know somebody that's got a frame, just a bare frame, or rolling chassis, let me know. Do some trading for it if you want, or whatever, or I'll just buy it outright. I'm in the North Texas area, around Dallas. I need one to keep full-time to be able to mock up parts now and for the future. And this guy was gracious enough to leave it with me for quite a long time. I've had this truck for, I don't know, at least 2 months, probably 3. I can't remember right. So, yeah, I need a 53 to 56 frame or rolling chassis to mock up parts. And then we're just going to continue to make all kinds of stuff. 4 links for the back that bolt on. Watts links for 4 links. Panhard bar kits. You name it. I've made all that stuff before in the past. So, but it was back in the day when we were doing mini trucks. But the mini truck scene died off. Of course, it's come back. It's come back hard recently. So, yes, I do also make some mini truck stuff again. But I made all that stuff back in the day. So I've got the experience doing it. I know how to do it. Made some pretty cool stuff. So we'll start doing all that again. If you guys have any suggestions on something you might need made, just message me. But be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Let's get the subscribers up on this thing. Work my way toward monetizing it. Till then, that's all for now on this one. Peace.